statistics can be manipulated and skewed in favor of whoever wants it to be skewed in their favor. Back in the day, a company would post a job in the newspaper, print out your resume, you'd hand it to the CEO, boom, bada bing, done. So why would you ever post a job that you have no intention of filling? It's messed up, but it's what companies do all the time. AI is not going to take your job. Someone who knows AI is going to take your job. It is currently June 2024, and today the unemployment rate has ticked up a little bit to 4%. Actually, for the past few years, unemployment has been at historic lows, meaning technically that for every one unemployed American, there are 2 open jobs right now. So why does it still feel so impossible to try and get a new job right now? Let's talk about it. Hey folks, my name is Erin McGough. I'm a filmmaker and career educator living in New York, and today we're talking about why it feels impossible to try and get a new job right now. Okay, I'm going to try to not nerd out too much during this video. After all, I'm not an economist, and a lot of this has to do with the economy, and the US economy is extremely complicated. No one ever knows what's going on, even the economists themselves get it wrong. But in this video, I'm going to be breaking down 4 reasons as to why I think it feels impossible to get a job right now, despite the numbers. On paper, the job market looks incredible. We have low unemployment, we're adding new jobs every single month, companies are recording record profits. Yet, my DMs are full of people struggling to get jobs. So if you're struggling to get a job right now, you are not wrong. And if anything, let this video serve as a reminder that statistics can be manipulated and skewed in favor of whoever wants it to be skewed in their favor. So let's get into it. This video is sponsored by HP and Intel. Real quick, I'd like to introduce you to the craziest computer I've ever had. The HP Envy X360 AI laptop with AI accelerating Intel Core Ultra processor. As you all know, I've got a lot going on. So let me show you how this computer helps me stay on top of all of my work. One of my least favorite things is when somebody forwards you an entire email thread, and then you have to read the whole thing just to get up to speed. Well, thanks to the HP Envy X360 AI laptop, I don't have to do that anymore. I can use AI to summarize the entire email thread and get the gist of the conversation, saving me a ton of time and energy. Another reason I'm able to stay so productive with this HP Envy X360 AI laptop, it has amazing AI video call capabilities. I don't know about you, but I'm on work calls constantly, and they're not always in my quiet office. Sometimes they're at my parents' house with the dogs barking. A lot of the times they're in the car plugged into a hotspot. Sometimes they're in the corner of a noisy airport. Yeah, those ones are tough. But I never have to worry about who I'm talking to getting distracted, because with AI, I can mute background noises, enable automatic framing, and add background effects, which blur out any distracting backgrounds. So if you're on the hunt for a powerful AI-powered laptop that can increase your productivity and be amazing on the go, look no further, y'all. I'll put some information down in the description if you want to learn more. Okay, back to the video. Number 1, ghost jobs. What are ghost jobs? Ghost jobs are whenever companies post an open job that they have no active intention of filling. A survey by Clarify Capital found that 68% of managers had job postings active for more than 30 days, while 1 in 10 have had a job posting open for over 6 months. This is not the norm, this is not usual, this is not typical. So why would companies post ghost jobs, you might think? Especially if you're a business owner or you have ever hired, you know that hiring costs money. Posting a job on Indeed or LinkedIn, that costs money. So why would you ever post a job that you have no intention of filling? Well, here's why, I'll tell you. There's a few reasons. So number 1, it makes the company look good. It makes them look like they are successful, they're making money, and they are growing. Number 2, it keeps current employees happy. If you have an overworked team and you tell them, hey, don't worry guys, we're gonna hire somebody to take the load off, and you post the job listing and it gives people hope, but you never actually have the intention of filling the job, you just put it out there to give people hope. It's messed up, but it's what companies do all the time. And number 3, it's to gain intel on the market. What's a great way to get some intel on your competitor? Talk to someone from their team under the guise of a job interview. Bring them in and say, hey, so why are you looking to leave your current job? And they have no intention of hiring you. They just want to snoop. So how can you avoid applying for ghost jobs? Number 1, stop perusing job boards. Seriously, job boards have become so terrible. They have become oversaturated. Things like Easy Apply and Quick Apply have just been overwhelming recruiters and hiring teams. So the more that you can network and try to get jobs through word of mouth, the less you're gonna run into scams and ghost jobs. Number 2, don't apply to old job postings. When you're applying for a job, look at how long the job has been posted. Another tip, look at the details of the job description. If it's overly vague or there's not a lot of information, that's a good sign that it's not a real job listing. Go over to the company careers website and see if that job is also posted there. And lastly, another tip is to reach out to the recruiter directly. So if you see that this company is hiring, go to the recruiting team and just reach out and say, hey, I saw this job posting. I'm just wondering if this is a position that you're actively looking to fill. Make sure that you follow up on that message. And if you don't get a response, maybe don't waste your time applying. Okay, the second reason as to why I think it feels so difficult to get a new job right now is the Great Reshuffle. So during the pandemic, the labor market was flipped inside out, upside down, all mumble jumbled. It was basically put into a blender. And there was something called the Great Resignation during 2021, 2022, where everybody was quitting their job. I don't know if it was because everybody reevaluated their lives due to COVID, or they upskilled during COVID, or they just had to change industries because of COVID, but a lot of people quit their jobs, like in droves. In spring 2022, a record 4.5 million workers a month, or 3% of all US employees, were leaving their jobs. And for reference, if you're like, I don't know what any of those numbers mean, Aaron, in 2019, that number was around 2.3%, which is more typical. 3% is really high. Going up even just a little bit of a percent is like a lot of people. In January 2024, just this year, 3.4 million, or 2.1% of US workers, bolted from their positions, slightly below the pre-pandemic mark, the Labor Department said in a report this month. The thing about the Great Resignation is that some industries were affected way more than others. For example, everyone left healthcare and education, and a lot of people went to tech. So we're still kind of recovering from the Great Resignation, which kind of turned into the Great Reshuffle, because as a lot of people left one industry, they also went to another industry, which made that industry, like tech, kind of oversaturated, and other industries less saturated. So for example, a lot of restaurants are still struggling to find workers. Yet, if you work in tech and you're a project manager or recruiter, you probably can't find a job. So there might be a lot of open jobs, but they're not really jobs that people want. The hiring rate right now is really low, yet everyone is applying for jobs. So yes, there can be an open job that's a perfect fit for you, but if you and 1,000 other people who are exactly like you are all applying to it, you can just not get it because there were so many qualified candidates. You know what I mean? If you just apply and 3 other people apply who are just as qualified as you, it's not as saturated. But right now it's like everybody's looking for a new job. However, the tides are shifting, which gets me into reason number 3, which is a white-collar recession. This is something that people are just now starting to talk about, and it's just kind of starting to happen. And I predict will get much, much worse with the onset of AI. A report from Fortune in 2023 estimated that over 8 million white-collar jobs are at risk in the US, with many businesses struggling to stay afloat or focusing on cost-cutting measures. So when a business has its P&L, its profit and loss, one of the best ways for it to increase profits is to get rid of a huge cost, which is labor, salaries. So that's why layoffs usually happen. Like middle managers, for example, are often victims of layoffs because they have beefy salaries, yet they're not the doers, but they're not the leaders, and they tend to be the ones to go. And also, anybody who works in recruiting and staffing, they tend to go too because if the company's struggling, they're probably not prioritizing hiring. During the pandemic, the government funneled a bunch of money into the market, and it just started printing money. And that's what causes inflation, by the way. The government prints money. Government can't just print money, causes inflation. I know, it's confusing. We can't print more money, y'all. We need to stop printing money. And, they did this to keep the economy afloat. They did this because each time the unemployment rate ticks up, people die. Like, that is a real statistic. So they just wanted to keep the economy afloat, and also rich people wanted to keep their stocks, S&P 500, their stocks and their retirement accounts nice and cushy. However, this created a lot of jobs that were kind of unstable. So anyway, I'm getting a little nerdy right now. I promise this is going to get interesting again soon. We saw and are seeing huge layoffs now in these recruiting and managerial roles. And again, we see a lot of layoffs in tech and media because those tend to have high visibility, but actually in other industries, we're not seeing high layoff rates relative to other time periods. Layoff rates right now are actually pretty low. However, something that's really interesting that's just kind of starting to show its teeth now is this white-collar recession. So this is interesting. This was just published. Professional and business services, so white-collar jobs, added a meager 7,000 jobs last month and has created 71,000 positions since June of last year. So it's currently June of this year, and this was reported 2 months ago. The tally was pumped up by January's 48,000 white-collar payroll gains. So to give you some reference, basically 71,000 white-collar jobs were added in the past 8 months. During the same 8-month period in 2022 and 2023, professional and business services added around 275,000 jobs. So we are seeing a huge decrease in the amount of jobs. And guys, AI is only gonna make that lower. Not saying this to freak you out or fearmonger you or anything. I just want you to know that if you put even one AI skill on your resume, that can really help. Because I have seen lots of companies already integrating AI, and these AI systems truly can replace workers. And a lot of these companies are keeping workers around because they don't want to spread fear. But AI can absolutely replace a ton of jobs right now, and jobs that we historically thought were safe. For example, lawyers. AI is coming for you. It's already here. So, okay, and number 4, ending on a bit more of an optimistic note here. Here's the last reason or theory as to why I think it's so hard for you to find a job right now, despite the numbers being so great. Number 4, the recruiting process is broken. Back in the day, a company would post a job in the newspaper and you drive down there, you print out your resume, you hand it to the CEO, boom, bada bing, done. Yeah, nowadays, the company will post the job to an internet board like LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, or Indeed, and then literally everybody in the world can just quick apply in seconds, leading to hundreds, if not thousands, of under or unqualified candidates in minutes. And this is driving recruiters crazy, hiring teams, any type of manager, company owner. It's just an incredibly inefficient system, because then people invented these computer systems called ATS, where you can then filter these massive pools of candidates through these computer systems, and they all work differently, but they will basically automatically read the application and kind of rate them or file them. And the problem is that these computer systems are notoriously dumb and stupid. Talk about where we need AI to just come into these computer systems and make them smarter. And it will lead to perfectly qualified candidates and wonderful candidates who just didn't tailor their resume or customize their resume, just falling through the cracks and completely getting ghosted or automatically rejected. And because of the rise of remote work and reshuffling, everyone is applying to jobs. There's been a little bit of a cooling in the past 90 days with people applying to jobs, so people are sitting tight. But a lot of people are looking for new jobs right now. A lot of people are shuffling, changing industries, looking for new opportunities, meaning that companies are receiving an unmanageable amount of applications for each job that they post. So now there are no physical hurdles to applying to a job. But it's even a worse problem now because you can't even tell if a human at the company read your application. You have no clue. You just get an automatic do not reply email auto rejection. And if you didn't tailor your resume to the role, and like specifically use the words from the job description in your resume and cover letter, there's a good chance that a human being never even looked at your application. And it makes sense. If a hiring team is getting 2,000 applications for a job they need to fill in 7 days, they can't physically look at your application, but it's like a problem that we created for ourselves. And then to add insult to injury, companies are laying off recruiting teams and they're laying off hiring managers and they're doing stuff themselves, and so they're overwhelmed and they're not hiring correctly. This is something you need to understand. A lot of companies are terrible at hiring. They don't know how to hire or find the right candidates. That's why staffing and recruiting is an industry in and of itself. But I believe that this is a fantastic opportunity for AI to come in and save the day. AI, we don't need you to make art or music. We need you to fix our recruiting problem. Because there's no reason that a qualified candidate who checks all the boxes for a role shouldn't be granted at least an interview at the company. I'm waiting for a robust AI to come out that can actually link qualified candidates to roles. Like, why are we still making resumes the same way we made before computers were in every home? I just don't understand that. And I think that might lead to a lot of people's jobs getting replaced, and it would also lead to many more people being in roles that are better for them and that they deserve to have. So the thing with AI and any new technology is that there's going to be growing pains. For example, when the car was invented, so many wagon horse carriage drivers were out of business. Oh no, but we got cars. So anytime a new technology is introduced, there's going to be a temporary growing pain or setback, and you just need to morph for the time. So if you were a carriage driver, you gotta run over and get your driver's license for a car. That's how you're gonna morph with the times. You can't resist it, you gotta let go. I'm optimistic about AI. I encourage you to gain AI skills no matter what industry you're in. So in summary, it's hard to get a job right now for a lot of different reasons. However, at the same time, the job market has been so much worse than this. If you were somebody who was around in 2008, this seems like a thriving job market for you. So it's all about putting things into perspective. That doesn't mean that your experiences aren't valid. Like I said, some industries are really, really tough right now. Other industries can't find workers. It's just a great reshuffle. As always, my tips are to get off of mass job boards. I mean, still check the box of applying, tailor your resume, write a cover letter, but these job boards they don't function correctly. So like, I'm not saying don't apply, it's a waste of time. Apply, check the box, get in the system. Just don't rely on that. Don't rely on anybody seeing your resume that you haven't sent an email or a LinkedIn DM to. You need to network as much as possible. Networking is the path of least resistance, okay? Because right now it's like, you have a resume, goes into Indeed, gets auto-scanned, goes into their ATS system, goes into the thing, and maybe a robot auto-rejects it, or maybe a human reads it. Just go straight to the human. Just cut through the middleman. And don't just network with recruiters or staffing people. Also network with department heads. If you want to be a video editor, go to the head of production at the production company. Message them and say, hi, I'm Erin. I'm a video editor with over 7 years of experience doing exactly what you do. I saw you had an open role for a video editor and I just wanted to put a face to an application. Is there anything that I can do to strengthen my chances of getting the job or getting an interview? Like, that's all you need to say. Also, read the room, okay? If you're a recruiter or project manager trying to get a job in tech right now, it's gonna be pretty tough. Maybe try to pivot to another industry, like healthcare or education, industries that really need workers. Or try to maybe upskill or reskill so that you can be a qualified candidate in maybe other industries. Hello, AI. Anybody with AI skills out there? There's been a huge shift in hiring. LinkedIn just reported that 73% of hiring managers say that skills are the priority when hiring candidates. So it's not your experience or how long you've been working or where you worked. It is literally, what do you know how to do? What is your output? What are your skills? So make a functional resume, lead with your skills. That is what the data is showing. Again, guys, it's hard out there, but just get to people. As long as you can get to people, you're gonna get a good job. All right, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, you got this, and I'll see you next time.